Hi guys, I want to introduce you to our Trix Nix litter. You may be asking, but there's only one puppy there. Well, that's because this is a singleton litter. So today I want to talk to you about why this could happen and then the differences in aftercare for mama and puppy when you have a singleton litter. So why could a singleton litter happen? Well, there's a number of factors that can influence the size of your litter. One could be the age of your mama or the number of litters she's had. Trix is fairly young. She's only 4.5 years old, and in her last litter, she had 11 puppies. So, for other words, she's fertile myrtle, and I don't think that the singleton puppy is her issue. Next, proper timing. We run progesterone level tests on all of our dogs, as well as this being an artificial insemination litter. When we took her to the reproductive specialist, they continued running progesterone tests and did vaginal cytology. So, timing was pretty much perfect. The last thing to consider is the quality of the semen. Nix is 13 years old. He's no longer doing live coverage breedings, so we're utilizing frozen semen for an artificial insemination. When they thawed out the sample, it wasn't that good, so we can expect that the quality of the semen impacted the size of the litter. They had to use 3 breedings to get us 1 puppy. How did we know we only had 1 puppy? Well, that's a great question because our only experience with a singleton puppy in the past was shock out of our muddy and shooter litter, which we didn't actually know she was pregnant because when we did an ultrasound to confirm she was pregnant at the vet, they didn't see any puppies. So with this litter, we have our own ultrasound machine now, and we were able to see it looked like only 1 puppy. Hard to see exactly what's going on in there in those views, but after doing a couple other ultrasounds, it really seemed like there was either 1 or a very small litter. So at 55 days, we decided to confirm our suspicions of a singleton litter by doing an X-ray, which revealed 1 puppy. We sent that information over to our reproductive specialist to see if we needed to make any changes on how we normally whelp a litter. We actually learned that with a singleton puppy, that doesn't always stimulate mom to go into labor. With Shock, we were lucky, and she surprised us. She was definitely unexpected, but Muddy had that puppy without any issues. However, knowing that we had a singleton puppy, it was suggested to do a scheduled C-section so that both mama and puppy would be healthy. With moms not always being stimulated to go into labor, we didn't want to risk losing this little girl by waiting for Trix to push that puppy out herself. We also don't have a ton of experience with C-sections. Our only other C-section was an emergency C-section with Grit when her labor didn't progress. So with a scheduled C-section, we actually took Trix in before her whelp date, and they did an exam, first to check puppy's heartbeat and make sure that the puppy wasn't in any kind of distress, and then a physical exam on Trix to make sure that she was ready for a C-section. They found that she'd already lost her mucus plug and was dilated, so ready for a C-section. The aftercare of a mama that has had a C-section is a little bit different than when they go into labor naturally. A lot of times they're a little groggy after the procedure, and their mothering instincts, even though Trix is an excellent mama, don't always kick in right away. So it was important for us to be very aware of what she was doing and how she was taking care of the puppy. I spent the first night with her out making sure that every time little puppy made some noise and squeaked, that I could help Trix get into the whelping box with her, lay down, puppy could latch and nurse, and Trix could clean her. It took about 12 hours for Trix to fully settle in and those mothering instincts to kick in, where we would come into the whelping box. And then when I left, she didn't want to leave with me. And as you can see, after a week into the process, she's doing a great job staying in here with her puppy, nursing like a champ, and taking really good care of her like we know she can. So though her care after having a puppy looks very similar to every mama, there is some slight differences. With every mom, we take twice daily temperature checks to make sure that if she's spiking a fever, we catch that early because it can be an indication that she's got an infection. We also do teat checks, making sure she doesn't have any blocked ducts or masses or discolored milk that could be leading to mastitis. As we're evaluating her teats, I'm feeling for any masses or thick spots in there, and I'm not really feeling any, which is good. Her milk production has kind of evened out a little bit too, now that her body is recognizing that she only has the one puppy. But you can express a little bit of milk and also see that it all looks nice and clear. And when I say clear, it's just normal milk colored. There's no discoloration. There's no infection. But definitely plenty of milk for one little puppy, which is why that one little puppy is going to turn into a chunk. But with her having a C-section, we also needed to check her incision and make sure it's healing properly, not weeping, getting red, or puffy. So here we're able to evaluate her incision down the midline here. It looks really good. There's a couple little crusty pieces, but those kind of brush off and can wipe off easily. It's not excessively red or inflamed. There's no weeping, no pussiness, and it's healing really, really well. Though she came home on antibiotics, it's still important to check for all of these things that could lead to infection because her health and well-being is so important to us. Now the aftercare of our little Singleton puppy. You probably think it's just one puppy. How hard can it be? It should be super easy to take care of one puppy. Though we do similar things with a Singleton puppy as we do with the rest of our litters, there are some differences. We still do daily weight checks. And interestingly enough, this puppy, just like our other litters, a lot of times have a little bit of weight loss in the first 24 hours. It actually took her 4 days to get back up above birth weight. But now, having full access to a milk bar 24/7 and not having to vie for those resources, she is gaining like a champ and getting super chunky. The other things that we do with all of our litters is biosensor training through the first 2 weeks. That's not only to help build strong immune and cardiac systems, but also to help our puppies be comfortable and tolerant of being handled. Biosensor training is about handling the puppy in different positions with their head upright. I know, Trix. On their backs. You don't hold them for very long in these positions, just for a few seconds at a time. Upside down. And then we can lay her on her back again and check those little toe pads. It's also okay for Trix to be comfortable with her being taken away for a few seconds and little puppy to be away from mom for a few minutes. I know, you want her back so bad. Because Trix doesn't have any other puppies to worry about when I take away her little puppy for biosensor training, she gets a little bit anxious about that process. But it's still very important that we're able to handle this little girl through her biosensor training, as well as lets this little girl know that she doesn't get everything she wants the moment she wants it, which is basically going and nursing, sleeping, eating, and repeating. With our last Singleton puppy, Shock, we were lucky and fortunate enough to have another litter very close in age that she could socialize with from the Grit litter. And so they were able to play and socialize together at certain times in the development process. We don't have that situation this time because this is our only litter on the ground right now. So we're gonna have to step up our game with this little puppy to help socialize her as if she did have litter mates. So if you're subscribed, you won't miss any of those milestone videos, as well as her additional training videos that we do in the future. I've been so excited for a Nix puppy. It's been a long time since we raised one, so this little girl is super special and has a special place in my heart because of that, as well as she's a Singleton puppy. So stay tuned and see what she's up to in the next video.